Aole, GMO, GMO, you gotta go. Aole, 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 GMO, GMO, you gotta go. Aole, aole.
I'm Joe Day, and I'm on the Hawaiian island of Kauai. What you've just heard are local people of all descriptions at a recent rally against the growing and use on this island of GMOs, genetically modified organisms. Several hundred people showed up, many with their small children. I notice you're here with your two children. Why are you here?
We're just committed to trying to keep our kids healthy and feeding them healthy food. And these poisons that they're spraying on the land here are contaminating all of us. So they have to go.
The movement is on. The seed is planted. The tree is growing. And the tree is growing fast. Mahalo everybody for coming out. Because without each other, we are nothing. Unity solves problems. And that's what we're demonstrating right here, peacefully.
There were many handmade signs. Stop the poisoning, label GMOs, say no to GMO, protect our roots, real food. Mr. and Mrs. Tourist, you are being poisoned every day. What is your name, please?
My name is Gary Hooser. I'm a member of the Kauai County Council and a former state senator representing Kauai and Niihau.
Your position on GMOs, you're here at this rally.
Yeah, I am here on the rally, and I have strong concerns about the industry and specific concerns about its impact on our community here on Kauai.
And those concerns are what?
Well, many people refer to Kauai as ground zero. There's about 12,000 acres of land, agricultural land, in GMO production. And that production has lots of impacts on our land.
It's mostly experimental, isn't it, at this point? I mean, this is their laboratory, is that right?
It is a laboratory, and they won't tell us what they're doing. I've asked them directly as a state senator and as a council member, what are you growing, what are you spraying, and they won't tell me, which causes me to be angry, number one, and to be very concerned and suspicious about what they are doing. Some of it may be production, approved corn, for example, and some of it experimental. But because they won't really tell us, I don't really know.
What are your concerns about what it's doing, what it might be doing to the environment here on Kauai?
I'm mainly concerned right now about the impacts of pesticides and herbicides. A lot of people on the west side especially are concerned about their health. There's a lawsuit of over 200 residents suing one of the seed companies, one of the GMO companies, alleging pesticide-laden dust. Our streams, our rivers, the ocean, there's stuff that's going on, and many people believe it has to do with the pesticides. So I'm trying to figure that out, and that's my main concern right now is the impact of pesticides and herbicides.
I know Pioneer's one. What are the companies here? I know Pioneer's one.
Well, Pioneer, then there's DuPont and Dow and Syngenta. They do have representatives here on the island. They have lobbyists and industry spokespeople that go around talking everywhere, but they won't give me the hard information that I'm asking. I've asked them specifically, the four companies that are here, tell me what you're spraying, where you're spraying, and how much you're spraying, and they've refused to give me that information. Well, atrazine is one of a long list of chemicals that are being used in our environment, and they're poison, they're toxic. And the industry will say, well, as long as it's applied appropriately, that it's okay. But many people are concerned. Many people are concerned about the impacts, long-term impacts, which I believe have not been properly studied.
Councillor, what do you say to people who say, as the industry might say, well, what we're doing is we're developing ways to feed people, the hungry people of the earth?
Well, I would say that sounds very good, but the reality of it is if people do their homework, they'll realize that the vast majority of genetically modified organisms are for either cattle feed or for corn syrup, processed foods. And you don't feed the world on ribeye steak and Twinkies.
And what do you intend to do from here on?
Well, on the county council, I'm looking at what is our legal authority. And looking at pesticides, maybe requiring disclosure. The companies are refusing to disclose. I think the public, at the minimum, is entitled to know what's being sprayed here.
What power does an entity like the Kauai County Council have to stop it? If you were to discover, for example, that it was, as many suspect, harming the environment and even harming people, what power do you have?
Probably the biggest power that I have personally, our council, and any politician or whatever, is the power to shine a light.
You recently wrote an article called "It's Not About Eating the Corn." What did you mean?
Well, when I say it's not about eating the corn, that's for me personally. It's about much more than that. It's about the globalization of the world's food supply. The fact that just a handful of companies own most of the seeds. It's the chemicals that are used, it's pesticides and herbicides. It's the ownership of life.
There was a bit of rain, as there often is on this island, but no one seemed too concerned. Overall, it was a friendly family affair with people of all ages and colors involved. What is your name, please?
David KLE Wilson.
David, why are you here?
Marching for the chemicals that have been around since, not from the plantation days, but more from the time the corn operations have been here. A lot of people, my family members, have been dying of cancer. Lately, been like 3 a month now. A lot of them going to hospitals, can't breathe at night. And also, they think it's from the dust when the wind blows. Because
the pesticides and the herbicides?
Yep. Because right now I have a sleep apnea, so I wear a mask to sleep. Then in the morning, when I wake up in the morning, I'm all fine, and all my whole house is all like respiratory infections. They're all sick. We have to rush them to the hospital.
You have a picture of your sister here.
Yeah.
Would you mind telling me about that?
Yep. She was a teacher at Kikaha School.
What was her name?
Holly Ann Kamara. She died of a rare brain cancer. Lived in Kikaha, just like a half a mile from Pioneer. Her mother-in-law lived in the same house prior to her that died of the same cancer. And it's like 1 out of 4 million people to have it. Kikaha's population is less than, 3,000? So something's wrong there, you know what I mean? So,
do you have any idea how many of your people in your neighborhood, your area, Waimea area and so forth, work for the GMO company?
I know a lot. I say
you know a lot of them.
Quite of them is my family members.
And what do they say about all this? I mean, they're kind of torn, right? Because they've got a job, and yet, on the other hand, it's hurting their health.
They don't wave at me anymore, but to me, it's that the future for my kids and their kids. They need to understand, and the future of the next generations is for everybody.
We have to remember, I guess, the plantation mentality. I mean, the plantations have controlled our state for many, many years. Pineapple sugar, and so people are hesitant to speak out against the plantation, against the jobs. And I think it's telling now that there are 200 people in Waimea Valley who are suing the plantation. And if you look at the crowd today, you see a lot of people that are born and raised here. And I think that's the tipping point, the turning point on this island right now, and perhaps around the nation. I think actually this is ground zero, and what we do here will ripple much further than our state. I'm clear on that, and I'm clear that the seed companies are going to do what they can to make sure that doesn't happen. But I just feel the momentum growing, and feel that we are going to be making some pretty profound statements in our community in the next year or so.
I'm here with the mayor. Mayor, why are you here, sir?
I'm here to hopefully, number one is make sure everybody's safe and they have a nice place to gather. Everybody has a right to gather, and of course the information that I'm hoping to hear is some of the questions about our companies, pesticides, GMO, all of the above. So to me, it's an awareness day. People can come and get educated. People can come and share some of their concerns in a very healthy and pono way.
Do you have a position formulated yet on this issue?
The only position that I've continued to say and advocate for is labeling. I think labeling is something is a must. So people should know, what they're buying or what is in whatever they're purchasing. And so anything beyond that right now is just gathering information, and I like some things like this for awareness.
My name is Ann Powers.
Why are you here?
I'm here to secure the future of food for my baby and her babies and all of life on the planet. I'm here I just talked to the mayor and on his way out, and I told him it's just like protecting your mother's breast for everybody.
Well, he told me that the only thing he was committed to was labeling so far.
Yeah, well, I think that that's just a big crock of, whatevers. I mean, I think we should do away with GMO farming and genetic engineering altogether.
So we're not fools. We know that we need to take care of our land. We need to take care of the limited resources because we live in the middle of the Pacific nation. The corporations are coming to Hawaii. And they're coming here because they're dollar signs and for no other reason. And that's just the way the system is set up. So they're going after our resources in order to get those profits. You guys, this island is the center. The problems here in Kauai is the number one problems in the state of Hawaii when it comes to negative impacts of these biochemical companies. This is the island that is taking the biggest hit. We know something is wrong. That's why all of you are here today. We know something is wrong. And we are here to say to our elected officials, listen to the people, listen to our concerns.
From the Hawaiian island of Kauai, this is Joe Day reporting.